Herzlich willkommen zu diesem ersten Video über Deutschgrundlagen. Very welcome to this first video about German basics. My name is Michael Rother, and I'm your German language native teacher at Munich Foreign Language High School. In this first video, I will talk about the German alphabet and the writing system, and then I will show you some tools and additional resources you might want to use. Let's start straight away with the German alphabet. What you see here looks almost the same like the English one, except for the last four letters. When you spell a word, you need the names of the letters. You do the same in English. You say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, and you just call them when you want to spell a certain word. So we will have to get to know the names of the letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, Ä, Ö, Ü, SZ. When it comes to writing those letters, only the last one really is new. Ä, Ö, Ü, the three right in front of it here, are called umlaut. Umlaut, in plural, umlaut. And for those, of course, you just put two dots on top of A, O, and U. For SZ, however, it helps if we compare to other writing styles. What you see here now is the full print alphabet. SZ is only presented in one form because what you see here is the lowercase version. Officially, an uppercase version is existing for a few years now, but I can tell you already, no one is realistically using it. It's very, very rare. When you look at this, it's a script form of the German alphabet. If you try to write script yourself, you will automatically fix those. They are not presented here correctly. The important thing is that we see SZ in a slightly different form with those beginning stroke, this upward stroke. The headline here says literally writing style, writing form. So we can carry on and look at an even older version, which is called Sütterlin. This is Sütterlin handwriting. And here we see SZ almost similar to what we saw before. And we also see the two components. Again, it is called SZ. And if you remember the names of those letters, when I just called every letter in the alphabet, this is S, this is Z. So you see the first part is S, second one is Z. What does this mean? Well, if we compare them, the print version is the easiest. It's the most simplistic. You don't want to start with script right away. But if you write the letter as Z, and you will definitely have to, in this, or any other weird form, or just replacing it with a B, is all just wrong. If you write whatever word, let's say street in German, it looks like this, or in script, it looks anything this, okay? If you replace the SZ with a B, allow me to just take a rubber and cancel it out here. If you write it like this, it's just wrong. The word suddenly became Strabe, and Strabe doesn't exist. Please write Straße. All right. Let's now come to some useful tools and online content that you can use. First of all, you're not writing by hand all the time. Of course, you're sometimes using your smartphone, your tablet, your PC when you interact with German content, and you might want to type something into a dictionary or just write down a text. In those cases, you need to have German language package installed to refer to the German keyboard and type those 4 special characters. The example here is a German, a Windows system, a Windows operating system. So you go to time and language, you click this, you can choose language packages under adding a language. Here I already installed the German version of the German language, which means the German standard spoken in Germany and written in Germany. There are other German standards, like the one in Austria and Switzerland and so on. Please make sure to select the German one. Here, for an example, I simply chose the one in Liechtenstein, a small country between Switzerland and Austria. If you choose something like this, you will get different recommendations on spelling and grammar. So please, German in Germany. The language package is enough. You don't need the handwriting if you don't want to. Install it. Maybe you have to reboot your system. That's all common. Once you install this, you can already progress to the dictionaries and whatever else you want to use. The standard dictionary in Germany is Duden. It's simply the one everybody knows and probably used at any time. Most people refer to this, even though it's not the official ruling. It's just the one which is referring to the official rules and to things people say and write, and publishes it back to the people. It is a German dictionary, which means that it is very difficult for you to navigate at the beginning. But it comes with all different kind of tools and grammar guides and so on. So if you take a look at this dictionary, and I already searched for a word here, then we can find a pronunciation tool where you can listen to the pronunciation of a word. You find grammatical information, and especially information on the meanings, the different meanings of a word. This is why you want to use it probably later on. On an intermediate level, you might face one word in various different meanings, and then you want to understand them, but you already have to know basic German. Of course, at the beginning, this is too difficult. And in addition, the grammatical information, which is given here, is not easy to understand. So you might want to refer to Wiktionary. The Wiktionary, the same information is presented very clearly. You also get a pronunciation guide. You even read the pronunciation brackets straight with it. You also get examples and meanings, but the meanings are not always complete. Just okay, because the basic words are always presented in their most essential forms. For you, the most important aspect is that you can navigate it from the very beginning, because there are English and Korean translations in most cases where it is important. Of course, as you advance to more difficult vocabulary, this doesn't exist anymore. Other dictionaries are, for example, Pohns. Here it is German as foreign language, Deutsch als Fremdsprache. So again, you can search for the same word and you find those meanings and pronunciation tools and everything. On the same page, you can use a conjugation table to find all the forms of a verb, not just in one mode, but in all the different modes of speech. But if you want such detailed information on a verb, I would recommend you to refer to verbformen.de, which means verb forms. And if you search for a verb here, you will find all the information that you ever need. If you refer to such tools, please do it to check on yourself. First think and then check. You don't want to cheat on yourself. It's your own language development, your own process of learning. A, you don't need all those forms at the very beginning. And B, only by testing yourself against what you have to apply the grammar for, you will be challenged enough to actually learn something. Making a mistake is okay. Checking on it is okay. Cheating on yourself just doesn't help you. Not on the long run. On Pohns, you can also select a German-English translator. But to achieve this, I would rather recommend you Lingui and Dict.cc. I've got a screenshot here which depicts this way better. The same word again is shown on Lingui in all its detail in many different isolated translations. You can find them here as well, but Lingui is a better choice for this in my opinion. And when it comes to expressions, Dict.cc will give you a lot of examples. Both are good recommendations. And of course, if all of this doesn't help you enough, there's always Naver Dictionary. The problem with this is that it's sometimes inaccurate because there's not as much traffic on the Korean-German side than, for example, on the Korean-English website. In addition, it's not always complete. The basic words, the most essential words, of course, are listed in the dictionary. But you will often find references to Minjung's Essence or other print dictionaries. Those words listed by users are not always checked entirely, and you will quickly come to a level where you can spot mistakes yourself. So translating to English or referring to English translations in general might help you more on an intermediate level. When you use translating tools at all, and I mean full translators like Google Translate or Papago, do so in a responsible way. This means at the very beginning, I would recommend you to refrain from it at all. There's no situation where you need this. You're not living in Germany. You don't have to get through everyday life in a German environment. In the classroom, you are safe to be understood and to be interpreted by me or by the other teachers. You can also help yourself in dire need with the English or Korean language. So when would you want to use this? Okay, if you really have to in everyday situations, and for learning steps to check on something and to understand grammatical principles, grammatical structures in a sentence. If you get a translation like this and you can understand most of the sentence but not everything, then you can spot what you don't understand, and by multiple translations you can figure out structures. The problem with this also is that you sometimes have to perform double translations like this. Okay, here I just did it on both tools for the effect, but a translation from German to English is way clearer and way easier than a straight translation from German to Korean, and vice versa. You are also already quite proficient in the English language, so you know what's happening here. You can spot a mistake here. You cannot spot a mistake from Korean to German or from German to Korean. Don't cheat on yourself with those tools. Don't use them at the beginning level. Even when you're intermediate, when you're quite proficient in the language, when you can spot grammar mistakes and fix them yourself. It might still not be the best choice to just refer to the translations of such a translating tool because it sounds unnatural. Maybe it's indirect speech when it should be personal. Maybe it's too formal. Maybe a certain phrase is not used this way. You don't know. The process of learning will tell you. So just try. My reaction to your language is telling you way more than my reaction to the translator's output. All right? Next. There is some rule for replacing the special characters. You're simply allowed to replace ä, ö, ü, and sz by ae, oe, ue, and ss. And there's a British guy on YouTube who was explaining exactly this in a short.
In German, these two dots are not optional. These are two completely different places, and this is a spelling mistake, which is obviously a problem if you're not using a German keyboard. But fortunately, there is a workaround. You can always replace the two dots with the letter E, and similarly, you can always replace an sz with a double S. But be careful, because it doesn't always work the other way around. You cannot always replace an E with an umlaut, and you cannot always replace a double S with an sz. Do I have time to explain why? No, I don't have time to explain why. Just take my word for it.
Please
Quickly now.
Word for it. Please take his word for it, because it really only is a one-way ticket. You can only do it this way around. The man you just saw is a British man who's living in Germany for, I think, 30 years already. He's producing content about grammar, about cultural differences between England and Germany, and so on. Of course, there are way more content creators. Just another example would be this American man in Germany. You just saw a map shortly. And this map is showing stereotypes about Germans. The title already says a video that will offend all Germans, because every region, of course, has some stereotype attached to it. And if you're interested in such content where it's more about everyday life and how people think of each other and so on, maybe check him out. There are way more content creators as well. If you want Korean who's living in Germany, this is the one to go to.
안녕하세요, 에밀리입니다. 여러분, 애기야, 좀 조용히 좀 해줘. 아줌마 이거 찍잖아. 네, 동네 애기가 울부짖고 있네요. 안녕하세요, 에밀리입니다. 여러분 요즘 심심하지 않으신가요? 저는 심심해요. 네, 뭐 어디 나갈 수도 없고 무튼 이럴 때일수록 뭐 할 짓도 없는데 독일어 공부나 하자라고 생각을 해서 요즘 독일어 공부를 좀 열심히 하고 있는데 이 독일어라는 게 참 매력 있는 언어잖아요. 그래서 막 공부를 하다 보면 이런 건 좀 재밌네? 사람들한테 말해주고 싶다. 말해서 공감받고 싶고 뭔가 관심 받고 싶다. 이런 마음에서 독일어에 대한 fun facts를 좀 정리해봤습니다. 손으로 다 썼어요. 요즘 시대에. 첫 번째 fun fact는요. 독일어는 참 지랄 맞다. 물론 이건 이제 배우는 사람 입장 한정이겠죠. 왜냐면 독일어가 워낙에 규칙들도 많고 또 그 규칙들을 기껏 외워놨더니 그만큼의 예외가 또 있는 거예요. 독일 사람들이 즐겨 하는 말 중에서 Ausnahmen bestätigen die Regel이라는 표현이 있거든요. 말 그대로 예외가 규칙을 증명한다. 또는 뭐 예외가 있기에 규칙이 있는 거다. 뭐 이런 말인데 전 그 말이 진짜 싫어요. 근데 뭐 제가 맨날 독일어 지랄 맞다 해도 다 이런 애정이 있으니까 하는 말인 거 여러분 아시죠? 제가 독일어를 얼마나 사랑하는데요. 두 번째.
Okay. And she's Emily with mit Y. Yeah. She's living in Germany for 5 or 6 years now. Her German is almost perfect. Basically, it's perfect. Yeah. She's seldomly pronouncing anything wrong. It's very, very rare. And even grammar mistakes are very rare as well. She's producing fun content, and since she's Korean and also streams on YouTube sometimes, maybe this is something you want to check out first. An easy start for you. Easy German, on the other hand, is really content produced by German natives, and they do street interviews in Germany, all over the place. The advantage of this is that they give you a German and an English subtitle in the video. So you can read what the natives are saying in the street interview, and you also see the interpretation in English straight away. This is, of course, perfect for understanding and listening skill. They have different kinds of videos. Maybe check it out if you want. If you're more interested in formal speech, there's always Tagesschau. It's the official news in Germany. It's state-funded, so it's independent, and it's very well renowned. You can check it out, but it's very difficult. They also have a YouTube channel and so on. It would simply give you some other point of view on topics, and you would get to know what's important in Germany currently. And lastly, Deutsche Welle. Deutsche Welle also is a German news broadcaster, but it's international. So it's German state-funded, but it broadcasts internationally in different languages. There's also a Learn German website by Deutsche Welle, and they give you content in different levels of German proficiency, as well as this video series, Nico's Weg, where foreigners going to Germany and learning and applying the newly learned German. So if you want to follow this, just check it out by yourself. It might be fun for you, depending on what your interests are. What we did so far was to look into the German writing system, getting to know the names of the letters in the German alphabet. We saw what tools to use for learning German language, what's helpful for you, for grammar aspects, for learning vocabulary, for learning the pronunciation or certain phrases. And of course, I also gave you some content here. Feel free to just check it out on your own. Depending on your interests, you even want to join the channels on Instagram because they are updated daily and more interactive, of course. I will see you in the second video where I will talk about the pronunciation of each letter, some pronunciation rules, and short examples.